Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Dayle.
We're sisters and best friends, and this is Proof It's Possible.
Jamie and I are complete opposites, but somehow through every stage of life, we stay on the same team. We're kicking the door wide open and sharing our morning coffee chats with you.
Join us as we chat about everything from chasing our dreams to entrepreneurship to family, friendship, and what other craziness we have going on that week.
This week, we have a very special episode for you. Last week, Jamie and I both launched our books. Today's episode is the live podcast taping from one of our launch parties. A little spoiler alert, we are both officially best-selling authors. That was made possible because of all of you. Thank you so much to everyone who bought, shared, and endorsed us on your social media. Thank you. We not only made bestseller in a number of the categories that we are in, but we also, which totally shocked us and has completely amazed us, is that we made top 100 books overall, both of us. Such a fun and cool accomplishment. So thank you. Here's a little piece of our book launch for everyone who couldn't join us.
And I was lucky enough to MC the event in Kelowna a few days ago, my first time out there. So I'm so excited to be here. And we are so excited to celebrate Jamie and Dayle. So if we give a round of applause for
Thank you, guys.
So I loved our Kelowna little party. That was awesome. I had a great time. But
Same.
Yeah, it was so good. But what I'm so excited about today is we didn't get to do a live podcast recording at the Kelowna party. No, there was no live.
No.
Nothing. No.
No. And so we get to do some of that today. I don't know if you folks know this, but Jamie and Dayle have an amazing top-rated podcast. And I'm not just saying that because my team produces it, but it is.
Yeah, right.
It's top-rated on Apple Podcasts. It comes up in charts every week, and so they have so much to be proud of. So we're going to do a live little episode today where we're going to talk a little bit about their books. But again, if you want any snacks, please feel free to grab some. And we'll kind of get started now. Yeah, and then I'm going to pass the mic over to them in just a second. So I'm just going to hit record on my own little device. We're really makeshifting over here. But you can see I have two mics.
So do we.
Yeah. Awesome. So I will pass it over to Jamie. And
Me first again. Okay.
Okay. Jamie, I'd love for you to tell everybody a little bit about why you decided to write a book and why it was on your heart to do it, especially so quickly. Jamie and Dayle really put this together. So I'd love to hear that.
I think the reason, I was at a round table with Christina, and everybody there was like, "You need to write a book." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not capable. I'm not a writer. I'm not this. I'm not that." All the limiting beliefs that happen. And then I just decided that I wanted to, and that I was going to. And so I told Dayle, I was in Phoenix. We were on a family vacation. She's like, "Well, then I am too."
That's us in a nutshell, though.
Yeah. So we decided that we would be accountability partners and we would write a book together. And the reason I did it is because I think that there's a lot of people that needed to hear my message. And there was a lot of people that could really get value out of my book. And so I thought the best way to get that message to them was through writing.
I wrote a book. I used a lot of my keynote speeches within my book and a lot of my messaging that I deliver when I speak in my book. And it felt like when Jamie said she was doing it, I got FOMO and I thought I'm going to get left behind here and we need each other to keep one another going. So I just decided it was time and to make the large jump into actually putting it all in one place, all one story, and giving all the details, all the juice. So it was my time to write as well.
I love that. I love that you folks do everything together. It feels
We do.
like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Conjoined twins.
Conjoined twins.
Practically.
So, okay, well, why don't you tell folks a little bit about not why you decided to write a book, but who your book will touch. And we'll talk a little bit about how you get your hands on some of these books later. And has anybody ordered the book already? No hands?
Everyone.
Yeah? No public shaming here. Okay, perfect.
Waiting for
Waiting for
Perfect.
tonight. Okay, yeah, don't worry. I'm going to get some crystal clear instructions on how to get some books. But curious, who do you think your book will touch and why?
Me first?
Yeah.
Okay. I think my book, although my circumstances are very, very different than most people's, the person that I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and being a person in a wheelchair suddenly at 16, I definitely had a set of challenges that I didn't see coming. But I think that's life. I think that's every single person has something come along that we didn't expect to have happen. And so as a result of those challenges, we all have to figure out our limiting beliefs, our negative stories we tell ourselves, all of the different things that stop us from chasing our dreams, from being our best selves. And for me, I think that the person that reads my book is the person that needs to hear that their limiting beliefs are lies.
And the person who I think could get value from my book is really anyone, because I think that there's, whether you are touched by addiction or not, I think everybody has that little dark secret, that thing that they're ashamed to talk about or to tell. So I think, I guess my ideal reader would be somebody who's struggling secretly with somebody that's battling addiction. But I do think that the general audience could be anybody that has, you know, that dirty little secret, that thing that they're so ashamed of, that they feel like they're very alone in, that they can read my book and think to themselves, you know what, I am not the only one.
Amy, what comes to mind for me is thinking a little bit about your story, right? Like your story that you share in your book is so highly personal. And there's probably people here who know you and who are reading the book. And I think actually, when you said this, and this is the introduction you were waiting for. She wanted to shout it. Here it is. But Britton mentioned earlier, like there were things in there as your best friend, like that she was like, oh, like I didn't know some of these things. Can you tell us about like that process of writing with such vulnerability for everyone to come and see, hear, and read?
Sure. I mean, it was a bit of like a Dear Diary and a way to just get it out on paper. I think there's a lot of things in there that I maybe didn't even really admit to myself. So I certainly wasn't admitting it to like my friends, my family, the people that are closest to me. I think that they're going to read that book and be like, I had no idea. But I think that it was a therapeutic process. And I think it was just something that needed to be said, because I think there is somebody out there thinking those thoughts, feeling those feelings, who also want to know that they're not the only one who's doing it.
And for you, Dayle, one of the things that comes to mind for me is around something actually you said to me yesterday when we were talking about, a wheelchair, and you were saying like, I'm not into the like sad girl narrative of being in a wheelchair. And I think that touches so many people, where there's all these things that people experience, and they might choose victimhood over kind of like empowerment in those moments. And I know that's something that you really want to change for people. Maybe can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So like people will often say things to me like, oh, I'm sorry, should I not have offered you help? Or you're independent, you can do things yourself, and I offered you help when you didn't necessarily need it. Or because sometimes I need help and sometimes I don't. And for me, it's choosing my perspective on how I see the world is a choice to assume everybody is out to do good and be good and treat me with kindness. And that's what I get back. What I think is a mirror of what the world gives me in return. And so when I get to a door and I need help opening it, I hope that the person I need comes along. So there's no, whereas there are people who are in wheelchairs who might feel offended by someone offering them help when they don't need it. And it can be offensive, and it's not up to me to decide if they feel offended by that. But I genuinely do need the help. So in the moments that I don't need the help, I say, no, I'm good. I've got this one. But I don't take offense to them. And my choice is to not choose to be offended by very many things almost ever, because it's a way easier life. It's a way better life. And I think everyone wants the best for me, no matter if it's a stranger at the mall that opened the door for me or it's my friends and family. So anything they say, they do, they provide for me, I'm just so grateful for it that I have too much good stuff to sit around and think, oh, this is hard for me. Although it is hard sometimes. And I'm not putting a positive spin on something that isn't true, but I figured out how to do all the things I want to do. There's always a loophole. There's always a way. I have so much support. I get to do all the stuff. So that makes me happy.
And anyone that knows Dayle will know that like she can manifest anything. Like she's like, you know what? We're going to get at the 5-star hotel. We're going to get the suite tonight. We paid for the lowest priced room, but we're going to get the suite tonight. And I'm like, oh, why not? And then they're like, ma'am, we've got the suite all prepared for
And I'm
you.
like,
and we've
I knew
decorated
it. I
I'm
deserved the suite. You guys, the suite wanted me more than I wanted the suite.
So she honestly like puts out so much positivity into the world that the world literally hands it back to her on a silver platter. And it's like, what can we do to make your life better? So
It's a good life. I'm telling you.
Okay, I love that. And what I love about that too is I think that people are able to take that no matter what's kind of going on in their lives, right? Is that from both of your messages is that idea of what the mirror that we want to be presenting. So for both of you, and maybe we'll start with Jamie this time. When things get hard, right? Like it kind of feels like you're looking over at past you, and you're now providing guidance to past versions of you. How do you maintain that perspective? How did you start to build up that muscle for such like a positive mindset? And Dayle, you'll go after that.
I think surrounding yourself with positive people. I put myself in rooms that really stretched my edges and did things that I was not always comfortable doing. And I think it's exactly it. It's a muscle. It's like running a marathon. You don't make it to 44 kilometers or whatever. I'm not running a marathon. I have no idea how far it is, but I'm
How many
guessing.
kilometers are in a marathon?
44 miles. I don't know. Anyways,
Someone help her out.
Yeah.
Miles out there.
Okay, I was really close, but anyway.
You're really not making it to 44.
You don't start running one day and make it, to running an entire marathon. So it's just that little persistence every single day, doing that one little step every single day and making promises to yourself and keeping those promises. And so anytime that I was about to go, into the poor me or that spiral, it was like, what do I have to do to get out of it? Whether that was like journaling or going to meet a friend for coffee or going to a meeting or whatever that looked like, it was practice, practice, practice. And I often say that like, it might seem like I just popped out of this, like, oh, I was in the darkness and now I'm in the light and my life is great. That's not at all how it happened. This has been almost an 11-year journey. So it's not like it was an overnight success. This takes time and perseverance and like digging into things that I didn't want to have to dig into, but was forced to, so that I could come out on the other side in a much better, more positive way.
Question.
Oh my God, I freestyled that. Mindset? How?
Okay, right. Okay. For me, one thing, so I'm blessed in that I feel like, and Jamie and I talk about this, I was born with a fairly happy heart. Like happiness does come naturally to me until it doesn't. And then when it doesn't, it feels really hard to find. So I didn't have a lot of the skills to like get happy when I didn't naturally feel it because it always just came to me easily. So after being in a wheelchair, I thought, well, this is the worst and I don't know how to get out of this feeling and I don't know how I'm even going to get a job and I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills and I don't know how I'm going to be an adult and I just didn't know how to have life anymore. So I had to do some proving to myself through self-trust and building like opportunities for myself, little things like I went away to a small college, wasn't the college I wanted. I didn't take the program I wanted, but I wanted to just prove to myself that I could go somewhere away from my parents at 18 and live on my own. Because that was step one in doing step 2 and step 3. So I needed to build self-trust. And once I had a little bit of self-trust in one thing, I could try the next thing, and then I could try the next thing. So very much building a muscle and repeating it and consistently pushing my borders of comfort.
Okay, one last question before we open it up to Q&A. So for you folks who might have some questions, just you can start brewing on them and I'll come over with the mic and you can ask them. And this is your chance to be featured on the podcast. What a gift, right? How fun.
Well,
Good PR opportunity.
You can plug your business. We don't mind.
Yeah, if you want to plug your business, feel free. We might edit it out, but anything could happen. But okay, I would love for both of you to just tell the folks here, the folks listening, like, what message do you want people to like have on their hearts as they're like reading your books? Like, what kind of mindset do you want them to have? What kind of perspective do you want them to be in?
I think the title of my book says it all, looking for proof. So I spent so much of my time looking for proof that my feelings were valid, and they were often really negative feelings. So it's changing that perspective that if you look for proof for the good, you will always find it. If you look for proof for the bad, you will always find it. So whether you're in that cycle of bad or in that cycle of good, it is a conscious choice. whatever you do is a conscious choice. So it's, for me, the message is always that whether good or bad, nothing is permanent, and you have the power to change anything.
You took my answer.
Yeah, right.
For me, I hope you read my book and feel inspired. I hope that you feel like anything you, whether big, small, exciting, scary, whatever, you would love to do in your life. I hope you do it. And I hope you do it with the biggest smile on your face. Like, I have a line in my book that talks about how much I love vacuuming. It brings me a lot of joy. And
it does not bring me joy, and I don't mention
but
it. I never will.
I feel very grateful to still be able to vacuum my house. Like, it is one of my greatest joys. I got home on the plane last night or yesterday, and I vacuumed.
She's like, I have a million things to do. I thought around the party. No, she had to vacuum the kitchen.
I just wanted to vacuum. It felt so good. I felt orderly again. And so anyways, those are the little things in life that, like, that's how minute of an item I can get joy from. And I hope that anyone that reads my book starts looking at life as like this beautiful, amazing, every day is a special event. You know, use the fancy china, buy the great shoes. Dress. Yeah, wear good clothes, feel good about yourself every day, do the fun things. Life's happening today.
Oh, how wise. Love that. Okay, I'm going to open it up to the audience. Anybody have any questions?
Jamie, I'm just curious if you can speak a little bit about what it meant to you that involved in your book.
Sure. Jen Tootoo, for anyone that doesn't know, is the wife of Jordan Tootoo, the NHL player. She wrote the foreword to my book. I had asked her if she would consider it because Jordan Tootoo is a big advocate for mental health and addiction. And I thought she would be the perfect fit because she's probably been through almost the exact same circumstances. And she so graciously did and said such kind words. So, I mean, it was like a dream come true, but it was one of those things that it's like proof it's possible. All you got to do is ask. And she had a newborn baby, and I put a lot on her plate. And I was like, if you're feeling up to it, I mean, I know that you're busy and tired and all the things. And she was like, no, absolutely, I will. And I think that's just a reflection of how important this topic is to so many people, and how passionate the Tootoos are about helping others. So it meant the world.
Hello.
My question is, what's the challenge you guys have to podcast or the book?
I'll go first. Every single day that I wrote the book, I tried to quit. Every single day that I went to my computer to write the book, I tried to quit. I would call Dayle every day and be like, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm probably not a writer. I'm probably just going to, if I should tell my story, I'm just going to hire a ghostwriter. Nobody returned my calls. So that was a real roadblock. But Dayle counseled me. Yeah. She was my therapist for the last 6 months. And she was like, no, you can do it. Your message is important. And so for me, it was just that self-doubt, that limiting belief that like, I'm not a strong writer. My message is stupid, that I literally sound like a crybaby the first 8 chapters, that nobody wants to hear somebody whining for that long of time. Like all of these things that I told myself about my book. And then I hear people's feedback. And I even said to my best friend, I'm like, this is wild that you're talking about my book like this, because I thought that everyone was going to have the like, wow, what a whiny baby when they came out of it. And then she wasn't saying that at all. So it's a reminder that even when you look at somebody, even when you see somebody that you think has it all together, they have all of these limiting beliefs and all of this self-doubt. And for me, that was like at the forefront. It was wild.
I was completely opposite of Jamie. I thought writing the book itself was the easy part, and then figuring the rest of it out afterwards was way harder. Like all the details about learning so much new stuff about publishing a book. And I did want to quit, truthfully, and I didn't want to do it anymore. But I knew I'd written this whole book. I'd edited, like went back and forth with the editor and did all the things that were necessary to get the physical book, but I didn't know how to get a physical book. So that part felt way harder to me, and I wanted to quit then, but
here we are.
I'm not a quitter.
Any other questions?
Danny.
Danny. This is the number one question I get is, what does your husband think about you writing a book?
This book. Not just a book.
Yeah, not just a book. A book that features him. he was very supportive of it. And I talk about it a little bit in the book about how he was really supportive of it. But the other night after our Kelowna book launch, he said to me, Brittany was staying at my house and she asked him this question point blank. And he said, if it saves one life, then it was worth it. And I think that it's a pretty amazing perspective to have, because although it is my story, I inevitably share a lot of his. So
Cheers to Ray.
yeah, cheers to Ray. I just think that it shows that he is very open to the idea that this book is meant to help people more than hurt people. This isn't a book to shame him or talk about what he's done to me. This is a book to share that addiction it really is a family disease, and it doesn't just affect the addict, it affects all of the family members. So he is incredibly supportive, and I'm very grateful for that. Can we edit out the ugly crying and the pausing, please? Josh, if you're listening.
Yeah, that was do you have one more question?
I think that Jamie and I's next thing that we are hoping to do together, we already do this individually, but is to start speaking together publicly. Take this show on the road. Not sure where, but
I think the important thing is the thread that kind of weaves between both of our stories is that we have overcome really different but really challenging circumstances. And we've come out on the other side a much happier version of ourselves. And I think that anybody can relate to having difficult circumstances, bad things happen to them. And I think we are hoping to just spread a message of positivity and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and whatever your tunnel is, that it's not too dark to overcome.
And you're not alone.
Yeah, and you're not alone. So, we're taking bookings if anybody has any.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so thank you so much. Can we get a round of applause for the ladies? So if you have a blast, and hopefully you do because you seem like low followers, we have some lovely men who are going to come and give a little bit of champagne, and we're going to do a quick toast. And while they get the champagne together, I just want to quickly tell you how you can get your hands on some books. So, as you know, or you might not know this yet, both Jamie and Dayle's books are Amazon bestsellers. We have best-selling authors in the house. And the reason that happens on Amazon is by purchases. It is people like you folks who've already purchased, and those of you who are going to buy tonight, where you buy, but you not only buy, you rate the book. And I get it. I haven't read the book, Jamie and Dayle. I'm not putting my name behind this review. But if you can write, whether it's something you learned from the podcast, something you learned tonight, something you love about that would mean the world. So if you can take out your phone while the champagne's coming and purchase on Amazon, that would be wonderful. You can do that, and you'll be able to get your hands on it. It should come to you shortly. Yeah, I was telling Jamie and Dayle that I ordered mine on the first day, and I had to call my husband and be like, a memoir of an addict's wife is coming. I don't want you to think that this is about you. It's not. I'll give him the heads up. But yeah, and you also can order, not only for yourself, but order for some friends. Everybody loves to have, lovely books from amazing authors. So if you need help with that afterwards, I'm happy to help you with that. So if you're like, I can't find the book, or you need a little bit of support, I would be happy to help you.
Can I just say one last thing?
Yeah.
The paperback is available on Amazon, and so is the ebook. And tonight, maybe Dayle can speak to this more, but if you purchase the ebook, it's on sale for 99 cents today, or $1.25 once it converts to Canadian dollars. But every dollar raised from that, all the proceeds from any ebook that is sold throughout, like the Kelowna party and tonight, will go to Love for Lewiston.
So, do you want me to talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
Love for Lewiston is a local charity to Calgary that does a whole bunch of research. It is ran by Jessica Jansen, who lost her baby when he was under 1 year old. I don't know the exact age, but he had something called SMA, which is a disease that, although it's not the disease that I have, has a whole bunch of opportunity for treatment. And if children are treated by a certain time when they're an infant, they have a better chance at keeping their mobility throughout their life, things like that. And then there's also, she does a whole bunch of work trying to bring new treatments in, trying to get some of this stuff passed. So she's doing amazing work. And I'm in the neuromuscular kind of world of, and so she's advocating for me. She's advocating for people with SMA. She does an amazing job. She's raised over $1 million. So we are happy to make them our charitable sort of partner for this Calgary leg of it. And yeah, we hope that everybody will just make the donation, buy the book in ebook as well, just to make the donation to them if you feel like you'd like to do that. So yeah.
Amazing. And so if everyone just raise their glass, I know that Jamie and Dayle have put so much work into this, and this is kind of a long time coming, but this is just also the beginning. And not only the beginning of what they're coming up against and what they're going to be doing, but the beginning of the impact that they're going to be making. So cheers, Jamie and Dayle.
Cheers. Thank you guys for coming. I have a few things to say.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
All right. You're like,
My time is done. I'll pass it on.
I would like to thank every single person that came tonight. Thank you so much. You're our people. We're lucky to have you. Honestly, when I do these things, I'm always just amazed who shows up for us. And this launch has honestly showed me that we have so many amazing people in our life, and we're lucky to have every single person in this room. And we thank you for being our friend, our family, our supporters, everything. Like, it doesn't matter if I was like, I'm going to do wheelchair pickleball, you guys would show up. And I don't, I mean, it wouldn't be even interesting to watch, but here we'd be. And you guys would be clapping. I don't know, maybe just like cute pickleball clothes. I don't know. But anyways, I'm just so grateful. And then to Christina, I can't say thank you enough. I mean,
Yes.
You've made this so great. You made it so exciting. You did such a good job. We love you. So thank you for coming and spending your time with us. Amazing. And then thank you. I'm the boss bee that plans the party and tells everybody where to be and what to do. So none of this actually happens because I do any of the work. And so Jamie does all the work. My mom does all the work. Christina did a lot of work. Brittany Land did a lot of work. James Land did a lot of work. Darren Britton did a lot of work. Darren's mom and auntie and cousin helped set up today. Mila Ray Francis did a lot of work. So everybody does the work but me. And so I feel like a lot of times I get the advantage of just getting to come to the party and take part. And yeah, it's never because I did any of the work. So thank you to the people who actually make it happen. You guys are the best.
Yes. Thank you to everybody for coming. And thank you, Christina. I'm just repeating everything that she said. Thank you, everybody that set up. Thank you. You know, the first episode of the podcast where she's Sophia Grace and I'm.
Yeah, I did all the talking.
Same,
Jamie went.
Same.
So anyways, we love you. Thank you.
Yes, one last thing though. I just want to say that my mom and dad are the best parents on the planet, and we wouldn't be who we are if we didn't have them. So thank you, Mom. Thank you. Thank you, Dad, who's not here, but here in spirit.
All right, folks. So that wraps up our podcast recording and kind of the more formal part of the evening. Please enjoy some snacks, enjoy some drinks, enjoy some fun conversation. And feel free if you need some help on Amazon. I would love to help you. Love to put everything else.
We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks, and chat next time.